Hello student, currently we are learning the lectures from the Principle and Art of Cure by Homeopathy written by Dr. H.A. Robert. Today we are going to learn the third chapter from H.A. Robert philosophy, that is vital force. Being a student of homeopathy, we all very well acquainted with the term vital force. We see that the conception of vital force or vital principle, or the conception of the dynamics and dynamic action, form the very basis of homeopathic practice. The materialistic world does not believe in the existence of any immaterial substance, but without believing in the existence of such a substance, the continuity of life and other events, or the phenomena of nature, cannot possibly be explained fully. Dr. Kane says, one who is rational will be led to see that there is Supreme God, that He is substantial, that He is a substance. Everything proceeds from Him, and the whole series from the supreme to the most ultimate matter in this way is connected. If we want to explain everything on this earth, we are to believe in two worlds, that is, the world of immaterial substance and the world of material substance. The main difference between the material substance and the immaterial life substance is that the latter is empowered with formative intelligence which controls the material body. So, we see that the vital principle is constructive or formative, and in its absence there is death and destruction. Everyone of you know the function and the characteristic feature of vital force. Let us learn what are the concepts given by Dr. H.A. Robert regarding the vital force. There is much misapprehension about homeopathy among physicians as well as among the laity. Laity means the common person, layman. That means the people who do not belong to the clergy. That is a very common people. There is a much apprehension about homeopathy among physicians as well as among the laity, because in medical fraternity or in world of medicine, the people believe only those things which they can see, they can hear, they can touch, and they can feel with their sense organ, while the world of homeopathy is totally depend on the world of dynamics, the concept of dynamics, which is the world of immaterial, isn't it? There is in every aspect of life, that is a role in health, the role of vital force in health, role of vital force in disease, as well as the role of vital force in cure process also. Therefore, there is much misapprehension. That means because of the dynamic aspect of the life and as well as they use the spiritual energy of the drug substance, there is a misapprehension about homeopathy among physicians as well as among the laity. Among physicians, there is a feeling that if we know the materia medica, that is all that is required. Yes, among physicians, that is related to the homeopathic physicians specifically, there is a misconception that only knowledge of materia medica is enough for the treatment of or the selection of remedy, isn't it? That is, among physicians there is a feeling that if we know the materia medica, that is all that is required. This only the knowledge of materia medica is enough for practice of homeopathy. The materia medica is indeed important. Yes, materia medica is definitely it is important, and its thorough comprehension and study is needed at all times. But unless the homeopathic physician has a concept of the philosophy, of the reasons underlying the administration of the remedy, he will never make a careful homeopathic physician. Yes, in last lecture we already know that whatever is the prerequisite qualities of the physician, what are the qualities should be applied by the or whatever is the principles you have to apply in our homeopathic practice. And therefore the concept of philosophy, that the homeopathy is the only science which has its own philosophy, isn't it? If you see the another sciences or the medical branches, you did not or you do not see that there is any philosophical background regarding the health issue or regarding the disease and cure aspect, isn't it? Homeopathy is the only faculty which has its own philosophy, and the whole homeopathic practice is based on the philosophy. Let us take the next paragraph. The study of the materia medica by Hahnemann would have caused no disturbance among the medical men of his days. It was when Hahnemann taught his fundamental principles that he drew forth antagonism and array as against a new and revolutionary and therefore dangerous doctrine. Yes, the study of materia medica, that means after the golden experiment of Cinquanabar from 1790 to 1796, Hahnemann proved many other drug substances on healthy human being and construct a materia medica pura, that is a pure experimentation of the drug substances on healthy human being. And whenever Hahnemann put forth his new principle of therapeutic, that is homeopathy, which is based on the law of similia, that is the similia similibus curantur, and for the application of the law of similia, the knowledge of or the pathogenetic action of the medicine is must, and therefore whatever is the fundamental principle, that is the law of similia, law of simplex, law of minimum, as well as the doctrine of drug proving, these fundamental whenever put forth by him, antagonism, he drew forth antagonism. This after the introduction of the homeopathy to the world, it was not welcoming by the medical fraternity, while the opposition, there was a great opposition manifested or occurred against homeopathy. And ire means it is anger as against a new and revolutionary. Why there is anger against homeopathy? Because the application of homeopathy is or homeopathy based on fixed principle, while there was total confusion regarding the therapeutic method or treatment of the patient, and n number of different methods were prevailing during the days of Dr. Hahnemann, and therefore the all physicians during his days would be the very would feel very insecurity, isn't it? And therefore there is a very strong antagonism, strong opposition against him, and therefore they strongly oppose homeopathic principle. So, in order to understand homeopathy and to get the proper concept of administering our remedies and even of taking the case and eliciting symptom, we must get Hahnemann's concept of the principles that enter into the studies of homeopathic physician. Yes, whenever we acquire training or skillful training being a homeopathic physician, there is a very specific training provided by the institution regarding the specifically very unique process of case taking, isn't it? The unique process of case taking and eliciting symptom, how the symptoms we or very specific skill you have to acquire for the case taking, and for this Hahnemann instruct all homeopathic physicians, and the very important instruction given by him in aphorism number 83 to 104. And then we must have a knowledge of analysis and evaluation of the symptom, and then the proper concept of administering our remedies, that means according or by assessing the susceptibility of that particular patient, nature of disease, we select a proper potency of the remedy and we decide the repetition of the medicine. And all this processing we must get Hahnemann's concept of principle. Yes, in everything for the practice of homeopathy, which is based on the fixed principle given by Hahnemann, that enter into the study of homeopathic physician. One of the first and foremost element with which the homeopathic physician must be conversant is the different form of energy, and therefore being a homeopathic physician you must have a knowledge what are the different forms of energy we have to deal with, isn't it? For it is on the basis only that we can prescribe homeopathically. Yes, you must try the role of the different form of energy in our life. In Hahnemann's Organon of Healing Art, he gives us the following. Yes, you every one of you know, in aphorism number 9, Hahnemann introduced the role of vital force in health, isn't it? And how vital force function, or what is the significance of this vital force in our life. Let us learn in word of Hahnemann. In the healthy condition of man, the spirit-like vital force, the dynamis, yes, this dynamis, that is it is a dynamic, immaterial, invisible force in action. The dynamis that animates the material body. Yes, every one of you know, make it move the material body. Here in the clear world, Hahnemann differentiate the whole world into different entities, that is a world of material, that is a material body, and the spirit like vital force, that is a world of immaterials, isn't it? And therefore This spirit-like vital force, spirit-like means it is a immaterial and invisible. It is not visible. This life energy, which is a spirit-like, invisible vital force, dynamis, that is a force in action that animates, that which make movement of the material body. The material body is totally, or it is there is no movement of the material body, but which make it moves, that is a spirit like vital force, isn't it? That means there is a two entities are there. First is a material body and second is a immaterial vital force, which rules with the unbounded sway, that without, and it is rule itself only, which is not ruled by any other force, isn't it? It itself, it has its own existence and retains all the parts of the organism in admirable harmonious vital operations. All these vital operations, that means all these physiological action of the body, physiological functions of the body, which are all conducted the admirably, very desirable and harmonious, which all systems are work in a harmonious way, isn't it? They in a cooperation and coordination with each other. That is a harmonious vital operations as regard both sensation and function, and whatever is the functions carried out by the all these systems, which is totally according to the sensation. That sensation, it is a area of mind, isn't it? The mind rules the function, physiological function of the body, so that our indwelling reason gifted mind can freely employ this living healthy instrument for the higher purpose of our existence. Yes, the existence of the human life, or the existence of the human being, is definitely with some purpose, isn't it? Every individual has their own purpose, own higher purpose of their life or their existence, and according to this, according to their built up of their mind, they employ this living healthy. Living means it is living means it is live, that is the material body live with the spirit like vital force, this healthy instrument for the higher purpose of our existence, in order to achieve the highest mission or goal or object of our life. We use this body as well as mind, the spirit like vital force, for achieving this higher purpose of our existence. You know, life force is all around you and within you. The life force, it is, this rules this material body, and there is a influence of this vital force in whole body, each and every cell of body under the influence of this vital energy, isn't it? And therefore it is the aura which regulatory, very in a regular fashion, in whenever the person in health, and we can enjoy this, or we can enjoy our life whenever we are totally in a healthy condition. Yes, everything in the world is, there is life, there is vital force, isn't it? This is the introduction for the first time by Dr. Hahnemann. This was the first introduction to the medical world of the rational concept of life itself. Yes, why it is called rational concept? Because if you see the dead body, the all systems, all organs are intact, isn't it? Still, because of the absence of vital force, there is no life. Yes, we can say in different terminology, the soul, Atma, Pran, Jeev, etc. But whenever there is a departure of the vital force from the material body, there is no life, and therefore the life is nothing but the only body, life is nothing but the only force. But this vital energy required the material body for its existence, to show its existence, isn't it? And therefore Life is not only the material body, but something immaterial force is also responsible for the conduction of the all activity of the life, and therefore it is a rational. If we consider only the material body, or the life or human being is only the collection of all other system, then it is definitely wrong, because by collection of the all organs or system, all organ or different tissues and different cell, we can't construct a life. Have you got it? It is only the assembling of different organs, but there is no life. Therefore, for understanding the rational concept of life, you can't deny the existence of this vital force or vital principle in life. Have you got this? We recognize life in three parts: the body, the mind, and the spirit. Yes, therefore the life is not only the material body, while it is a union of body, mind and spirit. Body, mind and spirit, or soul, and which is responsible for health, fitness, the quality of life, isn't it? Every aspect of the life, this trinity work together. This is a trinity, the union of three factors, and this trinity is always present in all life and in some form in every part of our organism. Yes, the existence of the this soul or vital energy, it is not accumulated in a particular area or particular part, but it is uniformly dispersed in each and every cell, in some form, in every part of our organism, every part, every cell, every atom, isn't it? These forces, because it is a dynamic force, if there is no force, there is no energy, there is no workout. These forces react in sympathy and are interdependent. That means these forces that is this dynamic. Mind is also the dynamic force, the soul is also the dynamic force, body is the material force, and therefore all these forces react in sympathy. Sympathy is in coordination, in the cooperation, and are interdependent. Yes, the existence of every factor is depending on each other. There is no existence of soul without a material body, or there is no preservation of the body without vital force, isn't it? And the chief role in between, there is a mind. Mind is also the immaterial force, but mind is the very, you can say, it is a great influence of the mind on the body or the soul also, because whatever is the thinking are there, the all physiological adjustment or the harmonious sensation of function carried out by the soul in order to keep the existence of life, that is the existence of this material body. Have you got this? Let us take the next paragraph. No organ, no tissue, no cell, no molecule is independent of the activities of the others, but the life of each one of these elements is merged into the life of the whole. Yes, it is. There is the existence of this vital force in every molecule, every cell, every tissue and every organ, and the function of these molecule, cell, tissue and organ and system, it is not an independent one. Yes, it is depending totally on the sensation and function of the another system, that the each and every cell or the function of the each and every cell is dependent on the another cell, that is and maintain the homeostasis, isn't it? And therefore he is called that it is not independent of the activities of the other, but the life of each one of these element is merged into the life of the whole. Yes, it is the life of the whole, that is the holistic concept, not a single or the person as a whole. This life is manifested as a function of the all these molecules, cell, tissue and organ unitedly reflected outward. The unit of human life cannot be the organ, and therefore you can't differentiate the human being in different organ or different system or different tissues and cell, isn't it? While the whole organism is the whole man. The unit of human life cannot be organ, tissue, the cell and the molecule, the atom, but the whole organism, the whole man. The whole organism is the whole man. This you know, thus if you know the function of the cell, isn't it? This function of the cell is only carried out whenever there is life. The vital force running all the function of the cell. It is a 3D image of the cell, and each and every molecule and each and every atom of the cell under the influence of this vital force, and then therefore the homeostasis is maintained, and therefore the vital force is, or the whole man is not the in cell, why it is not the tissue, it is not the organ, while it whole organism is the whole man. We are prone to think of attained life as composed of these three members, which make it a trinity, that is a material body, mind and spirit like vital force. But we must remember also that life is a unity from its inception. Yes, life is a unity from its inception. That means life is energy, isn't it? And it is inception means it is from the beginning or start, you can say. The life, whenever we know the independent life of any organism, from its inception, from its beginning, there is a unity of this trinity, isn't it? That is a material body, mind and spirit like vital force. Then whenever we study the independent life of any human organism, since beginning there is a existence of this material body, mind and vital force. Have you ever see any person without mind? Have you ever see the person without material body or without vital force? If whenever there is no vital force, there is no life, and therefore life is nothing but the trinity of this body, mind and soul. Have you got this? Let us learn from its inception, from its beginning of life. Yes, how it is present from inception. Yes, life is an energy. Yes, it is not destroyed and not created also, and therefore this life or this vital force, these carried out the function of each and every cell, and whenever at the initial level of the independent life which we received from our parent cell, the life energy which we received from our parent cell. When the two parent cells are united, that the vital principle, the vital energy is already present. Yes, there is no fertilization of the ovum and sperm if there is no energy. If there is no life energy, there is no life vital force, ovum is dead and sperm is also dead. But fertilization is only occur, the new life only occur whenever both parent cells are in a live state. Have you got this? And therefore we get this vital energy, vital force from this two parent cell, union of this two parent cell. When the two parent cells are united, that the vital principle, the vital energy is already present, and the ego of the completed cell does not change one iota after once beginning its process. That, yes, let us try to understand the ego of the completed cell. Ego means it is its self personality or its self construction of completed cell, means a fully developed cell. A matured cell does not change one iota. Iota means it is a very small amount. There is no little or everything is already settled down. There is no chance of any change by any other parent cell. One iota after once beginning its process. Yes, once there is the development is started, and from the oocyte there is the development of full ovum, or whenever this sperm is fully developed from its primary stage to mature stage, whole program is already settled down. Already it is maintained by the life energy or the vital force, and therefore there is no chance to change of its own structure or function also. Have you got this? Because it is a material one. Why is material one? Because we can see these. We can see the sperm under microscope, we can see ovum also under microscope, and these material one overpowered by or ruled by spirit like energy, that is a vital force. There are both are live. Have you got this? And this energy never allow them to make a change in its sensation and function also. They all act according to the predetermined plan of the nature. Have you got this? They work according to they function according to the predetermined plan of the nature, and these are all fixed. You know, the nature's law are always fixed, and therefore the completed cell does not change one iota after once beginning its process. It has in itself and of itself the power to develop the cells. The physical, because of the continual flowing through them of the vital energy which dominate the whole. Yes, whatever is the sperm fully developed mature, and whatever is a fully developed mature ovum, whenever both are live, then there is a fertilization, and once there is a fertilization, once there is a zygote form, whatever is a life is originated from this unicellular cell. Then unicellular cell, the life is formed, and which whatever is the life or the body is constructed, the fetus is developed, or the development of this zygote from zygote to embryo, it is all according to the predetermined plan of the nature, because it is dominated by vital energy. Have you got this? All these material one ruled by vital energy, therefore they have to act according to the rule of nature. Whatever is this vital energy guided them. Have you got this? And therefore here called the vital energy which dominates the whole. Yes, this whole material body is guided by or dominated by this spirit like vital force. Yes, let us see. From the fertilization of ovum, then these three germinal layers are formed, endoderm, ectoderm and mesoderm, and from this germinal layer the fully developed fetus is formed. It is only because of the domination of the vital energy. It is the development is fully according to the predetermined plan of the nature, which is dominated by vital force, vital energy. It has within itself the power to develop muscles, nerves, brain cells, individual in themselves, gifted with the power of for specialized use in the future. Yes, the whole development is according to the fixed plan of the nature. You see how this embryo develop and how this life, individual life is constructed according to the rule of nature, resulted into fully developed fetus, isn't it? And after delivery these fetus live the separate life as an individual one, and they, and according to this, or there is a these all these germinal layers which are formed, this gifted a power of specialized use in the future. That means it is a develop according to the this which is able to carry out the various function of the life, isn't it? And there is a development, there is a power of also development also. Yet these are all a part of the whole man, and while we have in each individual infinite power of development, is yes, in each individual the life start from this unicellular sperm and ovum, the zygote is formed, then this at this very macro structure develop a multicellular fully developed fetus, and from fetus there is a continuous development of the individual. This continuous development is because of the infinite power of development. Unless the ego in its initial stage is energized and capable of development, it will never grow to its highest capacity. If the initial energy is not there, then the further development is never possible, isn't it? Further development is never possible, and therefore for the unicellular life to fully growth matured individual, there is a flow of energy. Only the life principle or vital energy is responsible. Without this vital energy, the cell or the whole body becomes inanimate and is dead. Yes, which animate the material body. Here without vital energy or absence of vital force, there is no existence of this material body. It is only when the vital energy is present that there is a living organism. Yes, whenever there is the existence of vital energy, then there is only life. But this material body is also required for the manifestation of this life energy, capable of physical action and of the exercise of mental powers and the ability to take hold on the spiritual forces. Yes, whenever there is a, yes, it is picturized, you can see the image, but it is totally invisible. It is just like it is an energy form, and whenever there is a departure of this life energy from body, the material body is remain here. It is just like a dead. It is a, there is no movement. It is inanimate. There is no life. Without life, vital energy, vital force, there is no life, isn't it? It is not moved by self, by its own energy, because there is no life or energy, and therefore it is it is a just abstract of this all teaching is that it is the only when the vital energy is present that there is a living organism. capable of physical action. Yes, this living organism, this vital force is capable of the physical action and of the exercise of mental powers also. This mind is also there. The existence of mind is also along with the vital force, isn't it? And the ability to take hold on the spiritual forces. All other spiritual forces which are acting at a time simultaneously in for the existence of life, these are all ruled by the vital principle. Without or departure of the vital force, nothing but the death. Let us take the next paragraph. No two individuals are alike. Yes, you know, no two individuals are alike. Same. The development of the vital energy in one differ from that is another. Each one possesses a special personality and a special psychophysiological construction which is determined by the interplay of hereditary tendencies and factors of disease. Yes, here we see the different type of personalities in different races, and in same race also there are no two individuals are alike. Every person is differ from each other. And why these are differ from each other? Because you know there is a genetic factor or hereditary tendencies. It is depending upon the arrangement of the chromosomes in genes. Every one of you know this factor, how these chromosomes are act and how these are during this mitosis and meiosis or during the fertilization of these, after the fertilization and when after the zygote is formed, how this macrosomal, also you can say the chromosomal distribution or chromosomal predominant or the predominancy of the genes is determined the mental and physical attitude of the person, or it is, and therefore no two individuals are alike. Even two twins are also differ in every aspect, isn't it? Then the development of the vital energy in one differ from that in another. Each one possesses a special personality. Every human being has its own personality, special personality, and a special psychophysiological construction. Yes, everyone has their specific mental function or specific mindset, and which is determined by the interplay of hereditary tendencies. Interplay means interaction. This because of the interaction of the hereditary tendencies, that means which chromosomes are dominant from parent cell, these are carried out, isn't it? And these are all carried forward and exhibit in that particular individual, and therefore it is the hereditary tendencies which we receive from our parent cell and factors of disease. As we received the hereditary tendencies for the morphological structure and the mind also, or the disposition also, the tendencies toward the disease also we receive from our parents. The growth and development of each individual progresses as it draws upon the physical energy and upon the dynamic energy as it is manifest in brain and upon the spiritual energy. Yes, your mind and all activity, these are all conducted by brain or controlled by brain, and therefore the whole growth and development of the personality, that is a physical or mental also, these are there is a chief role of the brain. These different manifestation of energy are essentially different in their working. The law of growth is the same in one as in another. The law of growth, that means the multiplication of the cell, it is always a predetermined plan of the nature, and which is totally depending upon the genes and chromosomes and this interplay or these genes and chromosomes are all ruled by or influenced by vital energy. Therefore, it is the human being development or the human fetus develop into mature human being, while the dog is developed or the puppies are developed into fully mature dog. Similarly, every species maintain their characteristic feature, isn't it? Therefore, the law of growth is the same in one as in another. Then, therefore, in human being, the law of growth is same. The mingling of this expression of energy. Yes, mingling means mix up. It is a mixing of this expression of energy function properly in all the three manifestations. All the three manifestation means physical body, mind and vital energy. The vital energy is also, the expression of this vital energy is also differ as the individual one, and therefore the mingling of this expression of energy is the united personality. When the energy function properly in all the three manifestations, the whole personality grow harmoniously. Yes, there is the mind is very are responsible for the development of the human being, not only the physical constitution but also temperaments or the mental constitution is also depending upon this, or the mental mind is also rule the growth of physical constitution. For the energy is the powerhouse that supplies the impetus of growth. Impetus of growth for the whole economy, the whole individual. Impetus means it is a driving or moving force. Driving or moving force, that is a energy is a powerhouse. At this, for the energy is the powerhouse that supplies the impetus of growth. That means this, the whenever the life principle is there, or the what are the function of the vital force, the life principle present in living organism is responsible for the growth, development and function of each and every cell, tissue, organ, isn't it? Therefore, in fact, a living human being is nothing but the product of fertilized ovum, and animated and regulated by a dynamics, the life principle or the vital force. Have you got this? And therefore, this whatever is the development of the personality or the development of the mental attitude, it is all also depending on this vital force. This all the vital force give the driving this force for growth, and therefore the whole economy, the whole individual person, mature person constructed physically as well as mentally also, and different type of personalities are developed. You see this. There are n number of personalities are developed, like reserved, less intelligent, affected by feeling, submissive, serious, impatient, timid, tough-minded, trusting, practical one, forthright, self-assured, conservative, group-dependent, uncontrolled, relaxed. Then these all various type of personalities are developed according to the predetermined plan of the nature and the influence of the vital principle, isn't it? It is the various type of personalities and they are outgoing, more intelligent, emotionally stable, dominant, happy-go-lucky, conscious, venturesome, sensitive, suspicious, We all that imaginative, shrewd, apprehensive, experimenting, self-sufficient, control, tense. All these various type of personalities are developed because only the influence of the vital force or the vital energy, isn't it? And when the energy functions improperly, there is great growth. No one plan than another, and the personality is non-symmetric in its development. Yes, if there is any disturbance in the continuous flow of the vital energy, isn't it? Whenever the vital force function normally, then we enjoy normal sensation and function through the medium of vital force uniformly distributed all through the body, isn't it? But, and you know, the function of the vital forces, it is automatic, autocratic, spiritual. But whenever there is any hurdle or whenever this flow of vital force is obstructed because of some reason, then the direction may somewhat changed or deviated, you can say. The nature of energy is dynamic. These dynamics penetrate every particle, every cell, every atom of the human economy. Yes, this dynamics, the nature of energy is dynamic. Dynamic means it is defined as an immaterial substance of qualitative existence. It is a force in energy in force. Yes, it is a immaterial substance of a qualitative existence, and therefore the dynamic action is nothing but the qualitative action. You observe in the, that is this dynamic, this energy in force penetrates, which have or regulate every particle, every cell and every atom of the human economy. And therefore you can see the this dynamic action throughout our life. Any disturbance of the vital energy or force result in a disfigured and disturbed development of the whole human economy. Yes, whenever this force is obstructed, then there is a deviation and resulted into disfigured and disturbed development of the human economy. Such a disturbance may come from parental influences. Thus, let us see these such disturbances. Yes, whenever the parent cell are normal, there is a normal development, but whenever the disturbance may come from parental influences, such as the effect of sudden fright, it may be caused by indulgences on the part of either or both parents at the time of conception. Yes, this time of conception is very important, because whatever is circumstances are there, these all, there is the penetration of these influences on the parental cell, isn't it? For the example given by him, the sudden fright. The sudden fright or the indulgence on the part of either or both parent at the time of conception. How they, the nature or how they behave, what are the external circumstances are available in the time of conception is very much important. It may be due to hereditary stigma or of either one or both of the parent cell. Yes, this obstruction or the disturbances of the parental cell may be caused because of the miasm which they carry, which may perhaps be due to hereditary disease or miasms. Like an indelible brand, the wrapping of this dynamic energy is a stain that will not out. Yes, let us try to understand what is a like an indelible brand. Indelible means unable to remove or unable to forgotten. So whatever is the effect on the parental cell, the vital force make a permanent stigma on the parental cell, like an indelible brand. That is, it is not able to remove. The wrapping of this dynamic energy is a stain. Yes, and there is a permanent stigma or stain which will not out, which we can't remove. The stigma by the miasm or whatever is the consequences occur during the time of conception, these are all carry forward, isn't it? And definitely affect or definitely may the cause the disturbance in the flow of vital energy of the development of the individual. On the other hand, after the separate individual life has been established, we know how terrific are the consequences of fright. The fright of the mother who transmit the effect of the nursing child with the consequent disturbance of the vital energy long after the incidence is forgotten. Yes, it is very important, because when we take the history of or the pediatric history, we definitely ask the question, the whatever is the incidents occur in the life of the parents also, specifically the mother. Because let us see, on the other hand, after the separate individual life, after separate individual life has established, that means whatever is the effect of the fright, fear or the hereditary stigma, whatever is the consequences occur whenever the fetus in utero or the time of the conception, it is carried out throughout the intrauterine life, and whenever the child gets separated from the mother and live the individual life, this stigma remain as it is. Have you got this? Whatever is the effect of the fright during pregnancy, it carry forward after the birth of this fetus also. And while whatever is the consequences occur at the nursing mother, these are also carry forward by the child, because there is a obstruction or disturbances of the vital energy here in the mother. You know, mother and child is a one unit, and the whatever is the effect on this mother, it is carried out and expressed or manifested in life of child, although he lives the separate life. And therefore the consequences of fright, the fright of the mother who transmit the effect of the nursing child with a consequent disturbance of to the vital energy long after the incidence is forgotten. Yes, it remain a indelible stigma, stain on the life of the mother and carry forward to the child also, isn't it? That means whatever is the consequences occur, these are deeply imposed on genes, and therefore these are all carry forward. Or the mother's vital force may be disturbed by worries or by sudden fright, and she herself may suffer from the consequent serious disturbances. Yes, definitely whatever is the effect on the all these factor, exciting causes or maintaining causes on mother, these are all carry forward to the or by the child, whether it is a miasmatic, whether it is a acquired. These are but a few instances where there may be serious disturbances of the vital force. The influence of this vital force on the whole organism is so delicately adjusted and so intimately connected with every part that seemingly distant organs or unrelated symptoms show the effect of any disturbance of the vital force, and no one can prophesy that what the influence may be on the part of the economy or what direction will be taken by the manifestation in each individual, but his vital energy will direct the course with unerring precision. Yes, this is a very important paragraph. That means the influence of the vital force on the whole organism is so delicately adjusted. Yes, it is a very fine level. It is adjusted. Whatever is the sensations are there, are in order to keep the existence of life and the all the functions, sensation and functions harmoniously. The various type of adjustment made by vital force every time, every instances, according to, for example, according to the external environment or climatic effect, all the, or whenever there is a fear, fright, anger, or any type of sudden emotions are occur, these are all adjusted by the making macro or very fine or very subtle biochemical reaction, biophysiological reaction at very finest level, and so intimately means directly. It is a very direct action, direct relation of the mind and the physiological action, physiological function of the each and every cell, so intimately connected with every part that seemingly distant organ or unrelated symptoms show the effect of any disturbances of the vital force. Yes, if there is a disturbance of the vital force because of circumstantial effect or any exciting cause, any maintaining cause, any fundamental cause also, then the symptoms are developed. This, and no one can prophesy. Prophecy means a prediction about what could happen. Yes, and therefore no one can predict what result may be happen in particular individual person. Even what is the consequences occur in a particular individual. No one can prophesy, that is, no one can predict what the influence may be on the part of the economy. Economy means it is a whole person together, or it is not in a different part, but it is energized, it is head to foot, it is connected, it is a whole energy, it is controlled or influenced by the vital principle, and therefore it is, you cannot predict what the influence may be on the part of the economy or what direction will be taken by the manifestation in each individual. This according to their own personality, according to their own miasmatic pattern and diathesis, the consequences will be resulted into various other symptoms. But his vital energy will direct the course with unerring precision. Yes, but whatever is the functions carried out by the person or by the vital force, it is a will direct the course with unerring precision. Unerring means without any mistake. Without any mistake, vital force react continuously at the very clear precision. Precision means very clear, detailed, and a particular manner. Have you got this? And yes, this, see how this, there is a vital energy influence the whole organism, isn't it, head to foot, and but this individual person has his own miasmatic pattern, and therefore you can't predict what symptoms will be developed because of this circumstantial or any exciting or maintaining causes. Yes, it is enough for today. Okay, thank you. In next lecture we can continue with the another concept of the H. Robert for the vital force. Okay, thank you.